Hi, I'm Alyssa Turner, and I'm working on the thesis statement in paragraph 3.
Hey y'all, I'm Erin Outvader, and I'll be introducing our first body paragraph.
In chapter Ebora of her novel Zong, Norbise Philip utilizes structure and diction to illustrate the Zong tragedy through the eyes of the victims by appealing to the reader's senses.
This chapter of the novel allows the reader to witness the Zong massacre by utilizing diction and structure that provides vivid imagery. In order to convey the slightest sense of the severity of the tragedy, Philip employs imagery in terms of white space and specific placement of words and phrases. Although some of the phrases are illegible, Philip emphasizes significant words through repetition and word placement. One of the words that seems to stand out, even on the most cluttered page, is mortality, as seen in pages 176 to 182. This particular word is accentuated with white space to foreshadow the murder of the slaves and how they could see death surrounding them. Another phrase that the reader's eye is drawn to is if only ifa, as seen on page 182, which translates to if only divination. This particular phrase conveys that slaves were pleading to their gods for any sort of help. Additionally, more and more words are included on each page as the chapter progresses, creating a visual experience of the chaos and disaster on the ship that intensifies until the slave's death as the poem concludes.
So Philip's use of structure creates auditory imagery by receiving the sounds heard by the victims during the Zong tragedy. Blank spaces and separation of words um, kind of force the reader to take pauses while reading this piece, which emulates the sound of victims gasping for breath and air while they're drowning. These pauses created with unique structure also cause the sound of the text to rise and fall, emulating crashing waves. The blank spaces also embodies the silence heard when submerged underwater, further manifesting the sound heard by the slaves in their deaths. The slacks of text and lack of punctuation, such as ora ora ora, um, mimics the sound of shouting and desperation, which allows the reader to hear the slaves' cries for help as they drown. And that comes from page 180. When the sound of the victims drowning and the noises of the surrounding landscape are pieced together, the reader auditory becomes a part of the situation and relates to their suffering by establishing auditory imagery through the structure of text. Philip demands the reader hear the Zong massacre and experience the story more realistically.
The physical appearance of the text reveals the mental states of the slaves and the emotions they felt as they drowned. While progressing through the chapter, each page becomes increasingly chaotic and less coherent through the layering of text, faded ink, and blotchy appearance. Reaching a climax in the novel, the jumbled text creates a fast tempo that embodies the panic the victims experience as they are jettisoned into the ocean. The disjointed sentences and foreign phrases elicit feelings of confusion and disorientation in the reader, paralleling the raw emotions felt by the Zong victims. Furthermore, the printed text becomes faded and vague, which represents the slaves losing consciousness and their thoughts becoming muddled as they drowned. The faded and blotchy text also resembles the appearance of ink muddled by water, which serves to further immerse the reader in the ocean scene. The poems eventually become illegible until the last word of the entire work is reason, which reiterates the confusions felt by the slaves as they contemplated the reason behind this massacre. The chaotic and overwhelming appearance of the text allows the reader a glimpse into the realities of mass murder by fabricating the pain felt by the victims and eliciting those feelings in the reader.
To conclude, Philip appeals to the senses of the reader in order to humanize the Zong tragedy and to emotionally involve the reader in the lives of the victims so that their deaths feel personal.